Good afternoon. We are back with another segment of showing up for your business. I am Ebony Rose. I am a social media consultant, and I decided to do a series this month on showing up for your business. I made a choice to go live every single day on my YouTube channel at 1 p.m. to come on here to encourage those that may run across my page and just talk about ways that we could show up for our businesses and ways that it may feel harder to show up for our businesses. So we are on day 20 this month, and I am just so excited with the outcome, the feedback, and I'm looking to continue doing this in the future. We'll see. But at the beginning of this journey, I said to myself, if I want to help my clients build their YouTube, I need to do this myself. Anytime I take on challenges like this, it's not for no reason. I'm always doing this strategically to make sure I know what I'm doing, to make sure I know what I'm talking about. So that is one reason why I decided to do this whole series. So welcome. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. This has been such a fun journey, and it's been a stretch, definitely, but I am glad to be here. I'm glad to be doing this, and we are going to get right into today's topic, which is showing up when you didn't finish what you planned. Because a lot of us start things and we don't finish them for whatever reason. It could be a number of reasons, right? So days don't always go as planned, right? Especially when you're an entrepreneur. Days don't always go as planned. Things come up, things don't follow through. Some things, you have to like get in a impromptu meeting. Like things are always happening, right? Unfinished tasks can feel like guilt or avoidance. It can trigger those things, right? And I know for me that there in the beginning of my rebrand, there were a lot of things that I wanted to start. There were a lot of things that I did start, but I didn't finish because I was stacking all these things up on my plate. And I'm like, I need to be realistic. I cannot do all of these things, right? So all these tasks felt like guilt. It felt like I was avoiding things. It felt like I was a failure. It felt like all these things, right? So the lie that I was telling myself was that I need to catch up before I fully show up, right? And that is not, a lot of people put this pressure on themselves where they feel like they need to show up because they are behind, or they need to catch up and be up to date with everything that's going on social media. But that is not the case, okay? In my case, I felt like since I'm a social media consultant, I felt like I had to be on the up and up about everything going on with social media. There's still things that I'm going to learn along the way. And I cannot cram everything in at once and feel like I'm going to just know everything magically and be able to convey that in my client meetings or with myself, even through my own content, right? So let's cancel that lie that we need to catch up before we actually show up. Because if we are going to try to catch up before we show up, you're going to be burnt out. Like when you officially show up, you're going to be burnt out because you were putting all these things in place. You were putting all this pressure on you when you didn't even need to put all of this pressure on you, right? So let's cancel that lie right now. You do not need to catch up before you show up. You need to take it one step at a time, okay? Falling behind turns into disappearing, right? So if you are feeling like you're catching up, realistically, you're going to be falling behind. And then eventually that's going to turn into disappearing. And we talked about this a few videos ago about how you show up, you disappeared. Like, where did you go? Right? I think I started out the video like, where are you? Like, where did you go? Like people were looking for you and you just kind of like disappeared. You like fell off the face of the earth, right? So we have to be mindful of these little distractions that come up, these little thoughts that come up in our mind when they say, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. I need to catch up. You may not even need to catch up. You may just need to pick up where you left off or just pick up at a new point and start something different, right? Yes, doing some like Showing up when you haven't finished something prior can feel like you're a fraud. It could feel like you're a failure. It could feel like you don't know what you're doing. It could feel like you don't know what you're talking about. But we have to cancel those thoughts in our minds when they pop up, and we have to just keep moving forward, okay? Um, and that leads me to my next point, showing up imperfectly instead of waiting to feel caught up. Because if we continue to wait and play this waiting game as entrepreneurs, business owners, influencers, if we continue to wait until we feel caught up, we're just going to keep getting more further and further behind, right? And I'm not saying start out, doing all these things when you're trying to show up. Pick one or two things that you feel like you can realistically handle and then go from there, because that is what's going to build up the momentum. And we even talked about momentum in the beginning of this month. So go back and watch that replay about how momentum helps you to keep promises to yourself, because you do one or two tasks and then you feel good about it because you completed it. And then that's going to build up your confidence. That's going to keep you motivated. And then that's going to allow you to do the next thing versus putting all these things back to back, and then you're burnt out. You're you're a crabby person. You're yelling at people because you're stressed out, because you're the one doing all this work by yourself. You don't have a team, so everything falls on you. Like, we have to set ourselves up for success if we're by ourselves or if we have a team, right? So we have to be mindful that showing up imperfectly is okay. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Yesterday in my video, my dog was barking, and I'm one that's like, I'm not re-recording this. I am not doing this over again. Life happens. I'm not here to be perfect on my page. If y'all hear my dog barking and I have to pause it really quick, that's what I'm going to do. Either way, this message is going to get across to whoever needs to hear it. So show up imperfectly for a little bit, but don't feel like you have to show up on live, create a blog, do a podcast, and put out an ebook and put out a course and be on someone else's podcast all at once. That is not what you need to do. If opportunities are coming across your desk, pick one or two even, and see what you can realistically do in your wheelhouse. Like, what is the capacity that you have to do? Because the bandwidth is not going to it's not going to stretch if you keep adding things in. It's eventually going to break, right? So we want to be able to do things in our bandwidth and not overextend ourselves. Okay, momentum comes from continuing, not trying to clean everything up first, right? You have to keep going, keep moving forward. If a project didn't launch, keep going. Maybe you'll have time at the end of the year. Maybe another opportunity will present itself where you can finish that project. Or along the way, you may learn something new where you want to revamp and kind of restructure that project. So just because you didn't finish it 3 months ago, you may finish it 3 months from now. So don't try to clean things up. You are not behind. You're right where you need to be. Take what you have now with what you have and move forward. Don't stay stuck. Don't overthink. Do not try to catch up, because that's only going to make the situation worse. Okay? We have to work smarter, not harder. We have to know ourselves well enough to know what we can handle and what we cannot handle. And we have to be okay with course correcting. We have to be okay with quote unquote failing or not finishing something. It's going to happen, especially if you're overloading yourself. If you are at a point right now where you have boundaries set, you have your time management under control, and you're good, this is not for you. This is for those that feel like they need to do everything all at once. I have been there. I have been that person that created two courses at once, a build-up program, and relaunched my brand all at once. Do I regret doing it that way? Absolutely not, because I had so much fun. But going back and realizing, like, I maybe didn't have to do all three at once, for fear of not finishing something, or fear that I would be a failure. And because nobody is like looking for my stuff, I hadn't even rebranded myself. So it wasn't like they were waiting for my courses to launch. Nobody even knew about them, right? So I was putting all of this pressure on myself to finish something that nobody else knew about. So it's like, I mean, it's another thing if you're announcing stuff and people are waiting, or if you're announcing stuff and people are paying towards it and they haven't heard from you, like that's a different thing. But in my case, I did not announce anything, and I was putting all of this pressure on myself because I felt like if I did not follow through with this and finish what I had planned, I was going to be a failure. And, people weren't going to sign up with me. People weren't going to want to work with me. Like all these crazy thoughts that go into my head. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one out there that has experienced this, right? So take the time, write down exactly what you need to do, keep moving. Don't worry about what happened in the past. Don't worry about what was supposed to happen in the past. We cannot go back and fix that. We cannot go back and change that. All we can do is put things in place and move forward. Maybe you need to work on your time management. Maybe you need to set more boundaries. Maybe you need to work on keeping promises to yourself so that you don't constantly find yourself in this wheel of burnout, overwhelm, and all these other negative feelings that we shouldn't be having. And we're self inflicting them on ourselves because we want to do all these things. We even talked about that we're doing too much. We can't be all things to all people, and we can't do all things. Especially if we feel like we failed and we need to catch up. We still can't do all these things, right? So, this is the type of stuff that I talk about in my 3-month program, which launches March 1st. So if you are interested, please go visit my website. I would love to chat with you, talk to you about your plans and your ideas, and see how I can help you. Go to my website, click on the Work With Me tab, and go down to free consultation. And I would love to talk with you. Please feel free to subscribe to this video, and please share it with someone that you believe needs to hear this, okay? Because this whole series is about showing up for your business, showing up for yourself, things we shouldn't be doing, things that we've done for so long that we probably need to stop doing. This is what this whole thing is about. So thank you for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m.